Hello, hello, hello. I'm not hearing anything.
Your Honor, we are asking for a $25,000 cash or surety bond in light of the fact that we cannot ask for you to deny bond. I get that he is a man of means, and so this is a bit of a nominal monetary ask, but quite frankly, it would be an ask that I would make for any defendant charged with these offenses before you. So what strikes me as perhaps more important in this scenario are conditions that I would like to ask for. Because, of course, as you know, Your Honor, you're tasked with trying to make sure that he reappears, but also the safety of the public and this victim in particular. So, Judge, in addition to an ask for a $25,000 cash or surety, we are asking, should he post that? Should you impose that? We are asking that you order that he undergo a mental health evaluation. We are asking that you order him to submit to a GPS tether and that there be a no-go to this victim's residence or place of employment. Ask that you order that there be no contact with her whatsoever in any means, any fashion, direct or indirect. That there be no stalking behavior of any kind. That he be ordered to surrender any and all weapons. Further, that he be ordered to surrender his passport. Judge, the reason, Your Honor, the reason we make those requests is in light of the factual scenario that gives rise to these charges. My best understanding from a thorough review of the police report and as much body-worn camera as I've had an opportunity to review is that I understand that our victim broke up. They had an intimate relationship for a number of years, defendant and victim. That our victim broke up with this defendant on Monday morning early, that there continued to be defendant making numerous phone calls and sending numerous texts from that time moving forward that she did not answer, did not respond to, did not want. That eventually she presented herself to the University of Michigan, cooperated in some form of investigation there. As we all now know, defendant was at some point on Wednesday afternoon fired from his employment. He then, at some point soon thereafter, came to her apartment in the address that is alleged in the complaint, barged his way into that apartment, immediately then proceeded to a kitchen drawer, grabbed several butter knives and a pair of kitchen scissors, and began to threaten his own life. I'm going to kill myself. I'm going to make you watch. My blood is on your hands. You ruined my life. And a series of very, very threatening, intimidating, terrifying, quite frankly, statements and behaviors there in that apartment. It was only then, Your Honor, when the victim, she called her attorney and then at some point indicated she was going to call the police, and then he left. And so, Your Honor, while I understand that there isn't evidence to suggest that he directly threatened the victim with any of those implements that I've indicated, the totality of the behavior is highly threatening and highly intimidating. She was terrorized, Your Honor. And in light of the totality of all of those circumstances, we consider the defendant to be a risk to public safety, a risk to this victim. And it is for those reasons that we are asking for those specific conditions. I'm more than happy to answer any other questions that the court may have or give you further information. I appreciate the opportunity. Thank you.
Simon is the bottom.
Your Honor, let me start at the end where the people ended.
In terms of risk to public safety, my client's 39 years old with zero prior criminal history, zero prior contact with the criminal justice system in any fashion. The threat to public safety argument by these charges, maybe that's the point, but there's no evidence to suggest that he's a threat to public safety. The next thing is that the people referenced the court rule that I want to come back to, that you can't deny bond in a situation like this, and they referenced something else that I want to come back to, which is the fact that they reviewed thoroughly the police report, and they reviewed thoroughly the body cam. I've had none of that opportunity. And not too early for that in the proceedings, so when people come in and make factual representations, although I trust Ms. Mirsky very much as an officer of the court, I have no ability to respond to those factual representations. So here's what I'm going to ask the court. The monetary bond component, the two considerations by court rule are my client will appear. Let me speak to that. He's got a home here. His family is here. He's got ties to our community. He's retained a local counsel here. Second thing is that my client is not otherwise a danger to the public or danger to the complainant. That is why monetary components are requested, but there are other measures to address them. For example, the request for a GPS tether, that was an expected request. My client would gladly comply with that request. The second thing is my client having no contact. Certainly, we have no objection to that order, and my client would be at his own peril if he were to violate that. His bond would be summarily revoked. In terms of surrendering the passport, Your Honor, there's no really indication that he is a flight risk. My client has those established ties that I talked about. But in addition to that, Your Honor, he would have an order from the court, like everyone else does. There would be no leaving the state, let alone the country, without permission of the court, and he would certainly abide by that. Your Honor, with respect to the request for a mental health evaluation, I will represent a few things that are my understanding, again, without being privileged to have reviewed discovery. My understanding is that following his arrest, my client was taken to the St. Joseph Mercy Health System for an evaluation, a mental health evaluation. My understanding is following that evaluation, he was not turned over for a commitment, but instead turned back over to law enforcement for lodging. That's where he's been in Washington County Jail since. I can also tell the court that the Community Mental Health Department saw my client yesterday for an evaluation as well without any further recommendation. If you make that a condition of bond, I can tell the court that to get a mental health evaluation, he will absolutely comply and follow any aftercare recommendation. Lastly, Your Honor, with respect to the bond amount. I forgot to speak about weapons. He has no weapons, but he'll surrender. If you order that he surrender any weapons that he doesn't have, he will comply with that condition. With respect to the bond amount, Your Honor, in a case like this, with charges like this, in a normal circumstance, we'd be requesting a personal recognizance bond and frankly expecting the court to order it. We all know this is not our ordinary circumstance. It's not an insignificant amount of money to anyone. And I ask that the court set the bond amount to the principles, not of my client's bank account, but to the principles of the charges and to the principles of the courtroom. Therefore, I'm requesting that if the court orders a monetary component at all, that it be with the $25,000 10% privilege. And also, Your Honor, if my client is to order to a GPS tether, things have to happen pretty significantly to try to get that in place in time for use.
Mr. Moore, could you state your name, please?
Sherrone Moore.
Sir, you are not to use alcohol, marijuana, or any other controlled substance that is not prescribed to you. You are not to possess or purchase a firearm or any other dangerous weapon. You are not to engage in criminal conduct of any kind whatsoever. You may not leave the state of Michigan without permission of the court. Prior to your release, You will be placed on a GPS tether. You will not be released before that GPS tether is placed upon you. You must continue all mental health treatment as a condition of your bond. The named victim in this case will not be placed on the record. You may not have contact with that individual. That means no calling, no writing, no video chatting, no texting, no emailing, or any other form of contact the human mind can possibly fathom. No one in the world thinks that this person is going to reach out to you. Should they do so, and again, no one thinks that they're going to, you may not reply in any form or fashion. The named victim's address will not be placed on the record. You may not go to that location for any reason whatsoever. Are we understood on the no contact and no go-to, sir?
Yes, Your Honor.
If you have any questions about that, you have a good attorney, simply ask them. You understand?
Yes, Your Honor.
Bond will be set in the amount of $25,000 cash surety, as requested by the prosecution's office. This court does not determine innocence or guilt. This court determines flight risk and community safety. The court finds with these conditions in place, it has been met. Mr. Simon, we are setting probable cause conference at this time for January 8th due to the holidays and scheduling. Is that a good court date for you?
Your Honor, my client will waive his right to have that next court hearing within 14 days. I discussed that with him. I also try to coordinate calendars with Mr. Mearsky. In support of that, I think we're both available on January 22nd. We're both ordered that. And I'll add one more thing to the record in support of that. I understand that there is continuing investigation. So in addition to the discovery I don't yet have, there may be.
So it will be January 26th, 2020.
15, 22nd.
January 22nd, then. January 22nd, 2026, 9 a.m., 14A1 District Court, Courtroom C. That will be in person. Sir, do not violate these bond conditions. Follow all orders of the court. Stay in contact with your lawyer. That concludes this hearing.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you very much.
All right, we're off record. We're going to give 10 minutes for everyone. We're going to take a recess.
Oh, actually. Magistrate, Katie, can you go? Katie.
Hang on.
Ah, well, there you have it. I don't know. What's the sound like? I messed with it to try to boost that. Do I sound normal? I don't want to blow everybody's ears out. Well, that was the arraignment. I mean, we couldn't hear it. Here's what I got out of that. The bond is set at $25,000 cash surety, which I think is appropriate. I'm guessing he doesn't have a record, or at least not a substantial one, or he wouldn't be there. The actions sound pretty bad. It sounds like he threatened himself and others. And the only other thing I heard is that butter knives were involved. Well, thank you. So, I mean, I feel bad for him. He threw a bunch of money away, but he did it. Yeah, these things get a little weird. I wouldn't talk during it because what happened, it's too inside baseball, but if I turn up if I use the sound enhancer, which I did, even though it didn't work, but I used one, what happens is it blows up the volume on the microphone real bad. Plus, I was just trying to hear. I don't know what the charges are exactly. I don't know if he's charged with, because I couldn't hear her. Did anybody get it? I'm checking my own chat to see if anybody heard the charges. I mean, it sounds like you went over to the I mean, what? Like, I'm just speculating on charges because I couldn't hear the damn hearing. It was sad to see him in that state, though. You know, I've never seen him outside of the context of coaching, and he always had, like, you know, this athletic coaching crap on, and he looked, you know, reasonable in that. And then there he is in scrubs in a jail cell. It's sad. It's sad. It's entirely avoidable. And I heard them asking about, yeah, you know, mental health evaluation. That makes sense because he's talking about self-harm. Oh, good Lord. Do I have to play the clip again? All right. So there's a lot of people who don't care about this. So I have to play. I just did this on the video, but I'm going to play it again because I have it. Here's my context clip. For those of you who saw it already, I apologize. They broke up that morning and then he got fired. Who, he broke up with the girlfriend or the wife? I don't think he's with either of them at this point. Yeah, you know, yeah, if you're going to play the game, then these things happen. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. The wife probably would have stuck around just for the cash and let it go. That's the usual scenario. But that assumes he keeps his job. If he's not keeping the job, nope, you're screwed. All right, let me see if I can find. I'll throw up my context clip here. I'll throw it up because there's a lot of people saying I don't know who this guy is. He's a football coach. That's it.
Of Michigan had an affair with a staffer. People are upset that she's being outed, but I don't know. She's a main player in this, so I don't know if she should be off in obscurity. You know, she is an adult, but he is married.
See, that's what happens when you mess with the volume. I put it back to normal.
He has 3 to 4 kids from what I've heard, hooked up with her with an affair, got her pregnant, forced her to have an abortion, did pay for it, doubled her salary at the University of Michigan as a staffer. Michigan finds out, obviously. They fire the coach. Coach gets into an argument with his wife yesterday. I can only imagine it's about this. I would only imagine as your world's ending, you're losing your job, your wife's finding out.
Why catch a charge on top of it?
So he tells his wife he's going to kill himself. So then he goes to this girl's house. He goes and breaks in and puts a knife to his throat and says, I'm going to kill myself, but I'm taking you first.
Oh, my goodness.
It was something along those lines. The guy got arrested. So I don't know what happened there, but he ended up leaving, and they ended up picking him up, I think, around a church that was in the area. But that's kind of like the Cliff Notes version of what happened yesterday.
You know what? I sure love those muffin tops. Tops and muffins are just different from the bottom.
New 911 audio reveals details about the chaotic moments leading to the arrest of Sherrone Moore, the former head coach of the University of Michigan football team.
According to the victim here, he did put a knife to his throat and ran out.
Dispatchers sent police to an apartment complex where the victim detailed an encounter with Moore, who was allegedly carrying a knife.
Where there's a male at the location and the house attacking her. State's been stalking her for months.
Tonight, Moore, a 39-year-old husband and father, will spend another night at the Washtenaw County Jail, 4 miles away from campus. Authorities tell CBS News no charge information will be released until Moore's arraignment Friday afternoon.
I think this is a farce of mismalice of justice.
And it's really important to note here, Moore has not officially been charged with any crime. This new twist comes after the university confirmed to Local 4 Moore was fired over a relationship.
Well, now he has. That was true at the time that that report went out.
With a staffer. Who that staffer is or what their role was with the team has not been released. Meanwhile, a Michigan insider posted this on X, citing reliable sources writing in part, this employee presented irrefutable documentation about Moore's conduct to U of M leaders. The president and regents had seen enough, and Manuel fired him.
There you go. Context, like a real YouTuber there. So, he's got $25,000 in bond, but which he can make easily. He's got that. He can't go home, which is fine. Who'd want to? He's going to have issues. He's going to cry about his kids, which, let's be honest, I'm sure he loves his kids, but he doesn't care short term. And that's that. That's that. He will be vilified, which he should, because that's some crazy behavior. She will get off scot-free, despite the fact that her actions were less than reputable. Because, woman. And that's that. I don't think he'll ever be able to coach again. Maybe he can be the defensive line coach at a D3 program or something like that. But yeah, he's not getting that kind of job again. No. That's really odd. We'll find out more as it goes, but I'm wondering why I'm guessing he had to be pretty psycho for her to want to out that situation. Because you would think she doesn't want to do that. Everyone assumes they doubled her salary because of this situation, but maybe she was really a good assistant. Sounds like she was. Bad Mike. Here's the thing. If he was a great coach, he might have a chance. He's not. He's a competent, decent coach. He's not of the caliber that he should be head coach at a program like this. So no one's going to look the other way. Again, his options would be a lot better, even if he did all this, but was in the playoff. His options would be better at Michigan and every place else. But he had an okay year. Not terrible, but nothing spectacular. I think they underperformed with what they had slightly. But that's not going to make other college programs can go, oh yeah, we need his coaching genius over here to fix us. He did a middling job with the talent that Michigan can recruit. Can he turn around our program that's not in that good a shape? Probably not. That's the thought process, plain and simple. Plain and simple. Wisconsin isn't going to deal with that. But it's funny. And go become a Badger? I don't know. That's weird. It's just weird for me. You know, it's just shocking visually. That's my biggest thing. I knew what was happening. I knew it'd be an arraignment. I wasn't familiar with that judge. I was hoping it'd be Simpson. I think we all were. She'll come out fine. She'll come out fine. Everyone's like, oh, she's an innocent victim. She had no idea that she was sleeping with a married man. Or she did, but whatever. That's the way the rules work. We all know it going in. So you know, you got to act accordingly. Yeah. Do they ever stream his call other than this? I give them credit. I thought they were going to bury this. But they did not. In fact, they sent him off to a magistrate or judge that I don't see on YouTube ever. But then it was available. There were several sources of it. I went to the Fox one because the other ones didn't have any volume. That one had volume. It just sucked. But at least I could hear murmurs going along with the pictures. It's about the best I could do. So, all right. Well, there you go. Everybody asked me if I was going to do it. I did it. There you go. Complete with context. Did I throw an irrelevant Stevens clip in there? Yes, I did. Yes, I did. Because this is Law Talk with Mike, and that's what I do. Thank y'all for coming out. I'll see you soon.